Your database still does not have any records, and let me demonstrate it to you. Right click anywhere on department, say script table as, select to a new query window. Okay, so there's the script, you just execute it, and you see that there is no record in this particular table. Likewise, if you change this to select star from employees, and if you execute it, then you will understand that even the employees table is empty. It does not have any records. Now, how will you generate records into it? So I would recommend you to directly use script table as insert to query window so that you don't make any mistake. Okay. Now, what are these go statements? Go statement means, whatever I have written between two go statements, they should be executed over here. Okay. So let me create some departments here. Let us say I'll create an engineering department, execute. See, one row affected. Now, if you go and say select star from departments and you execute only this, that means just select this part and say execute, then you will see that department getting created. Now I'll create one more department, HR. I will select only this much part and execute. HR department got created. Another, let us say finance department. Okay, so I will execute it. Okay, now let us see departments table. It has these three departments. Likewise, I will go and create a few employees. Let me right click, say script table as insert to a new query window. Let me create the first employee as myself, Amit. City will be Pune, that is my city. And here I will need a department ID. So let me find out what is the ID for engineering. It should be 1. Okay, I'll select this and see what is the ID for engineering. It is 1. Okay, so I will put that 1 over here. Now I'll execute it. Now let us see how many employees got created. Select star from employees. And yes, my employee got created. Now let us create a couple of more employees, like let us say Nitin is again into engineering. Okay, let us say Garima. Nitin is, by the way, my brother's name. Garima is his wife. So let us say she is into HR department. Okay, now let us say that my mom and dad are into finance department. Okay, so my dad is in the finance department and my mom, which is Meena, is in finance department too. Okay, so let us see how are these tables looking now. So this is what we get. There are these 3 departments and there are these 5 employees. Amit and Nitin belong to engineering department. Garima belongs to HR department and Sudhir and Meena belong to finance department. So this is how you create your records. Now, if you notice, it is always a good idea to, have scripts in place. Like this script is only creating your database, but what about entering these, records in the database? So I would recommend that, you should be having one more script over here, which is called as seed.sql, which will create your seed data. That means the initial few records in your database will be created by it. So let me just create that seed file here. I'll just copy this and I'll paste it right over here. I'll call it as eiscdata.sql. Okay, and in this particular file, what I'm going to write is this code that use this database, go, and then I'll write these insert queries. But before inserting employees, I need to insert departments. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll write here departments. Okay, and department just has a name and I'll be entering these 3 names. Let me take everything in one line. Just like engineering, I'll be having HR and finance. Likewise, here for inserting into employees, I'm going to say it should have name, city, and department. And the value should be as such Amit, Nitin into engineering, Garima in HR, and Sudhir and Meena into finance. Now notice that here I'm repeating this word go everywhere. Go, go, go. Okay, what does that mean? Now, first of all, this is the first chunk of lines that you need to execute. So after that, say go. That means execute them. After that, read these few chunks of line and then go. That means now you execute them. Then read these chunks of line and then say go. That means execute them. So this is how it goes. Now, if you don't give this particular go and you give this go at the end, or maybe if you write this employee creation lines before the department creation line, then it will face some conflict over here because you need departments generated before you generate the employee, as we already discussed. Okay, so use this very judiciously, this go statement and the sequence in which you populate the data. That is very important because you're doing it manually this time. The machine is not going to help you. So write it judiciously and just save it. Okay, you can also execute this script at any time. Now if you notice, your edmx.sql file is something like this. Let me minimize all these things. Now this particular file says that uh, it has blank text for dropping any foreign keys or dropping any existing table. Why? Because at the time of its generation, the tables were empty. Okay, but now if you regenerate this particular file, these sections will have some value. Why? Because now your database does have those particular records. Okay, so now you need to first delete these records, then delete the foreign key constraints, and then you have to drop these tables. Okay, so that will be a correct kind of a script. So I advise you that after generating records in your database, once again go to your EDMX file and once again right click and once again say generate database from model. Again it will get generated into edmx.sql. Now this time see that it is showing drop existing foreign key constraints, then drop existing tables, and then it will start creating the tables. So this is the right way in which it should be. Hit enter. It is saying that will you like to override that file? I'll say yes. Again, do you want to override the schema as well? I'll say yes. Okay, yes to all, and then save everything. Okay, now as we already discussed, as soon as you make any change in the ADMX file and you save it, you should also rebuild your project. Okay, so rebuilding will do what? It will create this database context and database models. So let us rebuild our project. Okay, this completes our work. Now the script is also up to date and we have also regenerated the database context and the database model. So now our entity framework model is complete. Our database is also complete.